What up, Huck Squad? In this week's 3-Minute Thursday, I'm going to be giving a quick explanation on Discmania's number and letter system that they use to abbreviate the names of all their discs, or most of their discs outside of the Signature series. But first, check out this time lapse of this new fish tank that I got last week. For any of you guys who have a fish tank, you know that I can't put fish in there right away. I have to cycle it for about a week or two. I put everything in there, I have the heater set up, I have everything set up, so it's just gonna be a little bit before I can get some fish, but I am pumped about that. I used to have a fish tank at my old house, and I am really excited to have a fish tank back in my apartment. But let's hop right into this. All right, so starting from the top, we have P, which would equal putter. We have MD, which would equal mid-range driver. We have an FD, which equals fairway driver. We have a TD, which equals turning driver. Sorry for the handwriting, by the way, if it doesn't suit your needs. We have CD, which is control driver. We have PD, which is power driver. Oop. And we have DD, which is distance driver. So now, after you see a disc that has any of these abbreviations for the letters, what you'd look for next would be, most discs don't actually have the number 1, but 1 would be the least stable out of every line. Then you could go up to 2. So a very common disc that a lot of people know of is the P2, and that would be the second most stable line in the putter line that they offer. And then you could also go up to 3. And then for the MD line actually goes to 4 and 5. So essentially, for numbers, the higher the number, higher is more stable. And the lower the number would be less stable. Oh, sorry guys. Sorry about that handwriting right there. So essentially you're looking for what abbreviated letters you have here, depending on what you want to look for. And then whatever number that you see is going to be, the lower the number is going to be less stable, and the higher the number is going to be more stable. And then you also have discs like a P1X or a P3X. And typically what the X means is that it's beaded plus even more stable. So something like a PDX isn't necessarily going to have a bead, but it is going to be more stable than the PD. Just a quick wrap up, looking at this general overview here, it's really simple. After learning what MD and FD and all that stands for, and then learning what the number system is like, it's very easy to go out there and find the type of driver that you're looking for. I really recommend the stock FD is really good for fairway drivers. The TD, if you need a hyzer flip disc right out of the box that doesn't need any beating in, I would go with that TD. It's one of the best hyzer flip discs that you could ever get out of the box. And then getting into Signature Series discs a little bit. But here are some of my Signature Series discs. I have the Leo Piernan C-Line FD2. I have the Cloudbreaker Swirly S-Line. And I also have the C-Line Glow PD. And so there isn't much difference between these discs and the stock discs that you see here, but since they made these discs for a specific run, which you see here, they might act just a little bit different than what you may see here. Like for instance, this C-line PD is a little bit flatter and just a little bit more overstable than a standard C-line PD. And so if you find a disc on this list that you end up liking and you really end up falling in love with, and then Discmania comes out with a signature disc like one of these in that same mold, it's going to be a brand new run, so that brand new run might still have a little bit of inconsistencies compared to the stock run that you see here. So finding a signature series run of a disc that you really like can sometimes be really valuable in the Discmania system. So I hope you guys found a little bit of value in that. I know it's some pretty beginner and some pretty basic stuff, but if you're not familiar with the Discmania brand, or if you're a brand new disc golfer, I know when I was a new disc golfer and I saw all these letters and numbers, and I know there are a couple other companies that have some sort of similar letters and number system, but I had no idea what I was looking at, and I pretty much had to teach myself about the flight numbers and then just go with those rather than looking at all these names and numbers, because it was just so overwhelming and so confusing. So I hope this brought just a little bit of clarity for you guys for the Discmania brand. I know for me personally, the whole X thing for it being beaded or a little bit more stable, that was also really confusing for me at the beginning. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to give you a quick suggestion on each of these molds. I know I gave you a couple suggestions in the last clip, but I'm just going to give you a quick suggestion on these molds. For me, if I'm choosing a putter mold, I'm choosing the P2. I think it's the most popular putter in all of disc golf. I might be mistaken on that, but I'm pretty sure it's at least a top 3 putter in all of disc golf. The D-line P2, beautiful for putting, stable right out of the box, where if you can throw it off the tee, it's still going to bite for you a little bit. It beats in beautifully. So the D-line P2 would be my suggestion for a putter. For a mid-range driver, I don't really use Discmania's mid-ranges that much. I feel like I can get my putters to go pretty far, and then if it's something that I can't use a putter for, I'm kind of going to go right up to my FD. But I have been really liking the MD4 and the MD5, especially for flicks. The MD5 was in my bag for a little bit longer than the MD4. Neither of them are in my bag right now with the release of the Tactic and the Razor Claw. Those discs kind of took out my mid-ranges. But if I were to recommend a mid-range, if you're a flick player, grab an MD5. It's super predictable, super overstable, and it will really be a great disc in your bag. If you want like a backhand mid-range disc, I'd probably go, my friend Rivas throws the S-Line MD2 and the S-Line MD3, I'm pretty sure, and those seem to work out pretty well for him on a backhand. So check out the MD2 or MD3, and check out the MD5 if you're looking for a disc for a forehand. I don't think I've ever found a better fairway driver right out of the box than just an S-Line FD, just a standard S-Line FD. The glide is it's out of this world. It's so good. You throw that thing like 60% and it just glides forever. I think it's the straightest flying disc I've ever gotten out of a box. So if you're looking for a straight fairway driver, neutral flyer, go with the FD right away. The TD, it's kind of a specialty disc in a lot of people's bags. It's really used for wooded courses where you need to hit a tight line that flips up and goes straight for a while. But if you're looking for a faster FD, so something that's going to go a little further, but it's still going to have that flip up even a little bit more turn than an FD right out of the box, go with that turning driver. If you've been looking for a hyzer flip disc that you really don't need to beat in that much right out of the box, grab yourself a TD. The thing is money. Moving down to control driver, I haven't actually thrown a control driver in a couple years now, but referencing my friend Rivas again, and even one of my friends, Derek Smith, they both swear by the CD2. It is one of their favorite discs in their bag. It's one of their go-to distance drivers, even for those long shots. It kind of acts like that TD where it flips up and goes straight and goes forever and crashes. But a lot of Discmania throwers like the CD2. So if you're looking for that long distance control driver, go with the CD2. Down to power driver, the most common that you see in the PD line is the PD2. I mean, you have Simon and Eagle and all the top Discmania pros using that PD2 as their beefcake, as their long distance driver. So if you're looking for a PD class driver, I would go with the PD2. DD, so the stock DD used to be one of my favorite Discmania discs. I think it was even my first, it was this green C-line stock DD, and I think it was my first Discmania driver. I'm not 100% positive on that, but the DD line is great for a little bit more speed than the PD line, and it still has that great bite. I think I was using the DD mostly for forehands, but you guys have all heard how popular the DD3 has been lately, especially with the Cloudbreaker, and even with that new S-Line Echo DD3 that was released. I threw that in the field and that thing goes forever, and I think it's sold out right now. But the S-Line Echo DD3 is great, the Cloudbreaker DD3 is great, so I guess if I was going to recommend a DD lineup disc, I would probably just go with the Cloudbreaker. It's the most accessible. I'm not sure when that S-Line Echo DD3 is going to come out, and I do like the Cloudbreaker a little bit more than the stock S-Line DD3, so I think I would recommend the Cloudbreaker. And I guess moving down into the X, if you guys are looking for a really overstable, out of the box, fighting the wind, not much glide, overstable putter, the P3X is one of my favorite discs in my bag. If I had to choose one putter to play around with, which I actually did, I forget what episode it was, but I played around with just one disc, and it was the P3X, and I actually shot under par at Borderland. And it was so much fun to do. You can really throw it almost as hard as you want, and it's like not gonna have that high speed turn. It might turn over if you give it the angle of turn or if there's a ton of wind, but it's not gonna turn based off how much power you give it. I can throw that thing almost as hard as I want, and the high speed turn, it just still holds and then crashes. So if you're looking for an overstable, wind fighter, predictable backhand putter, go with the P3X. It is money. And I think that's it. This video probably went a little bit longer than I anticipated it to, but if you found any value in this video, make sure to hit that like, or make sure to drop a comment with what your favorite part of it was, or what was maybe your most eye-opening part, or what disc you might go grab now. And I'm feeling a giveaway in this video, so I think what I'm gonna do is you can just leave any comment based off of what I just said, what your favorite disc would be here, what disc you might want that you don't have. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick a comment and I'm gonna buy that disc for you and just ship it to your house. I'm not gonna have it come here and then ship it out. I'll just buy it for you, ship it to your house. It might take a little bit longer because of the whole Discmania warehouse thing, but yeah, drop a comment with what disc out of this list you might like or you've always wanted, and I will choose one of you guys over the next couple days. I'll get in contact with you. We'll get in contact on social media, whatever it is, and we'll figure out how to get that disc out your way. So hope you guys enjoyed this little video, and peace.